Good evening, everybody. My name is Ajay Malhotra. I'm the Associate Medical Director of our Level 1 Trauma Center, and I join everyone in welcoming you and thanking you for all the support you provide to our trauma program. For the final, for the final presentation each year, we chose a story of a patient who truly exemplifies that it takes a team to bring a person who has been badly injured back to normal life. And today's story is no different, about a young man who was truly caught at a wrong place at the wrong time. Without further ado, the Chris Baker story that will be presented by Dr. Michael Abutanos.
In a neighborhood known for its peace and quiet, amidst neighbors who live easily beside each other, a young man of great promise faced a moment of horror that would change his life forever. This is the story of Chris Baker, a young, courageous, and decent young man who survived the tragedy with the unlimited and unconditional support of his family. This is also the story of a community of shining knights, professionals who seamlessly blended together their extraordinary skills to transform a man on the edge of life into a healthy college student with a bright future. On August 15, 2007, Chris's extraordinary story began.
Chris and two of his friends were going to go to the store. And so one was in the house getting money from his father. Chris was driving and his friend was in the passenger side. And the gunman approached the passenger window and he told him to get out. And I think they were trying to outsmart the gunman by saying, okay, okay. But then Chris tried to start the car to get away. And so the passenger, he gets hit in the head with the gun. And I believe from that, the gun went off because it went through Chris's right side.
Oh, man.
We responded code 3, arrived on scene to find the gentleman lying on the ground with the HPD officer trying to cut away some of his clothes, obvious blood to his abdomen.
I got the phone call, and it was from Chris's friend, and he mentioned that Chris was shot. And so I didn't tell Grace. I said, we need to go.
First thing we did is get him out of that environment. Even though you have police there to control the environment, it still can become unsafe. So we got him out of there, got him in what we call our office, the back of the ambulance. One person's doing a detailed assessment on it, checking for further injuries, other person's starting IV.
Bullets tend to tumble as they go through the body, so a bullet that goes in his left lower quadrant could have ended up anywhere. His ended up going down towards his hip. As we found out later at the hospital, at the time, we had no idea of knowing where that bullet was actually going to end up.
I just didn't know what to say because I didn't know what kind of shape he was in, and I was just in disbelief. I mean, here it is. He'd just gone to orientation to start school the next week, and now he's, with a gunshot wound.
He was all in all stable at that time. He definitely had injury to his lower left quadrant of his abdomen. So we started 2 large bore IVs on him, gave him some oxygen. He vomited a couple times. We did some suctioning. Any major motor vehicle accident, any type of gunshot burn, anything of that nature, we were going to VCU. No thoughts about it.
The next 24 hours proved to be critical. He has lost significant amount of blood. He's cold and unable to form blood clot. Intensive resuscitation and warming is carried out by the surgery trauma ICU nurses Preston Durant and Kwame Boateng. His intestines continue to swell. His pressure in his abdomen rises to critical level. Chris is unable to deliver blood to his vital organs. He needed another emergency operation. There's no time to take Chris back to the operating room. Dr. Merrill performs the operation at the bedside to release the abdominal pressure and stabilize Chris's condition. The surgery trauma ICU team of nurses, physicians, respiratory therapists, and pharmacists under the leadership of critical care intensivist Dr. Julie McLaughlin work around the clock to correct his bleeding, resuscitate, and stabilize him. With his abdomen still open, many more surgeries will be necessary. Chris is at great risk to developing infection and organ failures.
The traumas come in through the door and are transferred onto our stretcher, and our initial assessment begins. The team kind of descends upon them, everybody with their own job, mine being putting the patient on the monitor, talking to them, letting them know what's going on. We're putting IVs in, we're getting lab work. Especially with the gunshot wounds, it's just a small hole in the outside, but they can do so much damage internally, things that we aren't able to see at the bedside. So we rely on our vital signs. We're looking at his heart rate. Is it too fast? Is it too slow? His blood pressure, the sign that he could be bleeding out, his blood pressure starting to drop.
We certainly could tell by the trajectory of this bullet that it went across things that could be fatal if damaged by such a projectile. So lose no time. Where is he right now with blood loss, and then how quickly do we need to get on to the operating room in order to stop the spillage, in order to stop the bleeding?
He was shot, it's basically one shot, single shot. He was shot in his belly on the right side. The bullet went from the right to the left and lodged in his hip.
You feeling his skin, looking at him. Is he responding to us like he did when he first arrived? Has he stopped talking to us? Is he, sweaty and diaphoretic? Or does he look calm and relaxed? Those are big signs so we can tell if there's something serious going on inside, just those little outside things.
Looked like something simple on the outside. It was something very devastating on the inside. This bullet went right through his large bowel on the right side, went through about 35 centimeters of small bowel, multiple holes. There were about 6 holes in the small bowel. Went through his large bowel on the left side.
So we're following protocol, but the thing that overlays that is, what does this young man need now so that we don't get into trouble or lose the opportunity to reverse what looked like a really bad situation. As I recall, the most impressive and urgent thing was a laceration to the left iliac vein that was just pouring a lot of blood. And so we had our packs in place. We got a good, careful, controlled look at that. So what was going through my mind is, if we don't control that iliac vein, you can exsanguinate, lose everything in a matter of minutes.
I walked into a typical scene that we see, a young kid who's been shot and who we did what we call damage control. Basically, my partner did a great job just to save his life, stop the damage.
Because we're a team, you have time periods when it's your responsibility and you must be at your very, very best then. The senior surgery resident is a very competent young man. And then over the anesthesia side, there would have been a senior anesthesiologist. We have nurses who know everything about this. They know everything. They know exactly what to do. It's automatic. There's not a matter of making a request. You don't have to spell it out. You hold out your hand and there it is.